Some people think differently, not louder, not smarter, just differently. And here's the weird part. Most of them don't even know it. You'd assume a rare mind would feel rare. It doesn't. It feels broken, slow, antisocial, lazy, too quiet, too intense, too much, or not enough. But what looks like a flaw on the outside is usually the exact thing that makes someone's brain wired in a way only a small percentage of people share.
I've spent years studying behavior patterns, personality research, and how uncommon thinkers actually show up in normal life. And there are 6 signs that keep showing up over and over again. If you hit 3 or 4 of them, your mind isn't average, not even close. Let's get into it.
Point 1. You think too deep for casual conversations. You don't take answers at face value. Someone tells you something, and instead of nodding, your brain immediately asks, "But why?" How does that actually work? What's underneath that? Most people stop at the surface. You can't, even when you try. Application. You're the person who turns a small talk question into a 40-minute conversation. You overthink things others don't even notice. You replay conversations from 3 days ago and find a new layer in them. In meetings, you stay quiet, not because you have nothing to say, but because you're 3 steps ahead and waiting to see if anyone catches up. This isn't overthinking. This is pattern hunting. Your brain is wired to look for the structure behind the noise, and that's rare. Most people are running on autopilot. You're running diagnostics. But thinking deep is just step 1. The next sign is something rare minds do without even trying, and it freaks people out. Point 2. You can read people like a book they didn't write.
You meet someone. Within 60 seconds, something inside you already knows this person is real or something's off. You can't always explain why. You just know. Application. You pick up on tiny things, a forced laugh, the way someone's eyes shift, a word they choose that doesn't match their tone. You notice when "I'm fine" doesn't mean fine. You feel fake energy before you hear fake words. And later, you're almost always right.
This is high pattern intuition. Your subconscious is collecting microdata most people's brains throw away. It's not magic, it's processing power. And it's one of the clearest signs your brain runs different software than the people around you. Now here's where it gets interesting, because the next trait is something people will call a weakness until they realize it's actually your biggest strength. Point 3. You observe before you react. When something hits, bad news, a rude comment, a stressful situation, most people react instantly. Anger, panic, defensiveness. You don't. You pause, you watch, you process. Application. In an argument, you go quiet while everyone else escalates. In a crisis, you become the calm one. When someone tries to provoke you, you respond a beat slower, and that beat changes everything. People sometimes mistake this for being cold. It's not. You're just refusing to let your emotions drive the car. Framing control isn't about feeling less. It's about responding from a higher place. That tiny pause between trigger and response, that's where rare minds live. Most people never find it. And that same controlled energy shows up in another way, one that gets misunderstood constantly. Point 4. You look lazy. You're actually selective. People around you jump into things, new trends, new side hustles, new drama. You sit back, you watch, you don't move. So they call you lazy, unmotivated, too chill. But here's what's actually happening. You're filtering. You're asking yourself, is this worth my energy? Does this matter in 6 months? Am I doing this because I want to, or because everyone else is? When you finally commit to something, you go deep, hard, fully in, because you chose it. You're not lazy. You're protective of your energy. And in a world that runs on impulse, That's rare. Most people are busy. You're intentional, which leads directly into the next sign. And it's the one that probably made you feel like an outsider growing up. Point 5. Your interests don't match the crowd. You're not into what's trending. You're not chasing what everyone else is chasing. Your curiosity pulls you toward weird corners.
Niche topics, strange ideas, things most people don't care about. You'd rather watch a 2-hour documentary on something obscure than the show everyone's talking about. You'd rather read about something specific than scroll through what's viral. You like what you like, and you don't need permission. This is the marker of an internally driven mind. Most people's interests are downloaded from their environment. Yours are generated from inside. That's the difference between a follower and an original.
And finally, the sign that ties all of this together, the one almost every rare thinker shares. Point 6. You recharge alone, not around people. Crowds drain you, even fun ones, even people you love. After enough hours around others, your brain feels foggy, heavy, slow. But put you alone in a room, suddenly your best ideas show up. Your clarity comes back. You feel like you again.
You do your best thinking on walks, in the shower, late at night when everyone's asleep. Alone time isn't loneliness for you, it's maintenance. Your brain doesn't process well in noise. It needs space to think clearly. That's not antisocial. That's a different operating system, one that requires solitude to function at full power. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Having a rare mind isn't automatically an advantage. It only becomes one when you learn how to use it. Most rare thinkers waste their wiring because nobody taught them how to channel it. If that's hitting close to home, hit subscribe. I make videos breaking down exactly how minds like yours work and how to turn the traits people misunderstand into the things that set you apart. Now back to it, because there's one last thing you need to hear. Being selective, following your own interests, needing solitude. If 3 or 4 of these felt like someone was describing your life, your brain isn't average. It's wired in a way most people will never understand. And that's not something to fix. For years, you probably thought these traits made you weird, slow, antisocial, or too much. They didn't. They made you rare. The world needs more people who pause before they react, who think before they follow, who choose depth over noise. You're one of them. Now go act like it.